It was just another normal evening, until the lights started flickering. I thought it was just a power cut, until I saw it. A shadow, standing right behind me. My heart froze. I whispered the words my grandmother once told me would protect me. Ayatulkursi. The shadow didn't move, it vanished. That night, I learned the power of Allah's words can defeat even what the eyes cannot see. The night it stood behind me. The night the wind began to howl like a wounded animal. Amina knew her marriage had crossed into a place where love no longer lived. Only shadows, secrets, and the unspoken presence of something she could not yet name. The apartment in the heart of Hyderabad felt colder than the rain-lashed streets outside. The faint light from the street lamp filtered through half-closed curtains, casting prison bar shadows across the living room wall. She sat curled up on the corner of the sofa, her phone screen glowing in her trembling hands, the message staring back at her like an open wound. "I can't stop thinking about you last night. You're addictive." Her breath came shallow. The number was saved under a name she didn't recognize, but the icon next to it, Fouiz's photograph, was unmistakable. She'd been married to Fouiz for 7 years. 7 years of compromises, shared dreams, and whispered duas in the stillness before far. She had believed their love was strong enough to weather anything. Until now, she didn't hear the elevator open, but she heard the familiar sound of Fouiz's key sliding into the lock. Her body stiffened. The door opened, and he stepped in, shaking water off his umbrella, his navy suit clinging to his tall frame. His face was tired, but his eyes darted immediately to her. "You're still awake?" His tone was neutral, almost dismissive. "I couldn't sleep," she replied, her voice flat. He set his briefcase down, loosening his tie. "Long day at work. I'm exhausted." She didn't respond. The phone in her lap felt like a weight she couldn't drop. Fouiz disappeared into the bedroom, not noticing the storm inside her. Not yet. The days that followed were filled with a strange silence. They spoke only when necessary, about bills, groceries, or schedules. Their home, once full of the aroma of Amina's cooking and the sound of their laughter, now echoed with the hum of the refrigerator and the faint ticking of the clock. She tried once to confront him. "Faiz, are you seeing someone?" He paused mid-sip of tea, the porcelain cup trembling slightly in his hand. "What kind of question is that? Just answer me." He looked at her for a long moment, then set the cup down. "You're imagining things. You've been overthinking. Maybe you should keep yourself busy." It was the kind of answer that made her blood run cold. It wasn't denial. It was dismissal. That night, she prayed long after Isha, her tears soaking the prayer mat. "Ya Allah, if this marriage is worth saving, guide us both. If not, give me the strength to bear what is coming." At exactly 3:17 a.m., she woke with a start. There was a sound in the apartment, soft, rhythmic, like Quranic recitation carried on the wind. She sat up, listening hard. It wasn't coming from her phone, nor the TV. Fouiz lay beside her, fast asleep. The sound seemed to come from everywhere at once, wrapping around her, and there was a faint scent in the air, fresh, like jasmine after rain. Her skin prickled. The sound stopped as suddenly as it had begun. In the morning, she said nothing. 2 nights later, it happened again. Same time, same scent, same sense of something unseen, but close, too close. A week later, during another sleepless night, she found herself walking through the apartment in darkness, following that scent, that whisper of recitation. It led her to the top shelf of the bedroom cupboard. Hidden beneath old blankets was an object she hadn't seen in years, an old Quran wrapped in white cloth, gifted to them by Fouiz's late grandmother on their wedding day. The moment she touched it, a warmth spread from her fingertips up to her heart, steadying her breath. She opened it at random, and her eyes fell on the verse. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Quran 2:153. She wept. From that night, she began waking before far, reading that Quran and praying for guidance, not just for herself, but for Fouiz. She didn't confront him again. Instead, she showed him silent kindness, cooking his favorite meals again, greeting him at the door with salam, speaking gently even when her heart ached. It was in the fourth week that Faiz came home pale and shaken. Amina, something strange is happening. I keep having dreams of an old man reciting Quran to me, telling me to go back, to make things right. His face, I think I've seen it before. She felt her heart race. What time do you wake from these dreams? He hesitated. 3:17 a.m. That night, they both woke together at that time. The recitation filled the room, louder now, clear enough for them to recognize the words. And we have placed between them affection and mercy. Quran 30:21. Faiz's eyes filled with tears. He confessed everything. The late nights, the other woman, the lies. He told her about the guilt that had been crushing him, about how every time he tried to meet her again, something stopped him. A flat tire, a sudden illness, a missed call. Amina listened in silence, tears rolling down her face. When he finished, she whispered, "If you repent sincerely, I will forgive you, and we will start again." The days that followed were unlike anything before. They prayed together, attended Islamic lectures, and Faiz began following the Sunnah in small but steady steps, smiling at her, helping with chores, praising her cooking. The unseen help never left. Some nights they still woke to the scent of jasmine and the sound of recitation, a reminder of the mercy that had saved them. But not all the unseen was gentle. One night, months later, as Amina rocked their newborn son to sleep, she glanced into the darkened hallway and froze. For a brief moment, she saw the shadow of a woman standing there, long hair covering her face. The baby whimpered. A chill swept over her. When she blinked, the hallway was empty. Amina didn't tell Faiz about the shadow in the hallway. She didn't want to unravel the fragile piece they had rebuilt. But the image lingered in her mind. Long hair covering the face, a stillness too deliberate to be human. The next night, she heard something. At 3:17 a.m., when the familiar recitation began, another sound crept beneath it. Soft, deliberate footsteps in the hallway. She gripped the blanket, her eyes fixed on the doorway. The steps stopped just outside their bedroom. Faiz stirred beside her. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Before she could answer, the door, though locked, creaked slightly inward, just enough for the faint scent of jasmine to be overwhelmed by another smell. Acrid, metallic, like blood. The recitation grew louder, as if pushing back against whatever stood there. And then a whisper, a woman's voice, low and venomous, slid into Amina's ears. "He's mine." She gasped, sitting upright. The door slammed shut. Faiz was already on his feet, flipping on the light. No one was there. The lock was still in place. But on the floor, just inside the doorway, was a single wet footprint. Bare, but blackened, as if burned into the wood. That night, Faiz confessed something else. "The woman, the one I was with, she was strange, Amina. She knew things about me I'd never told her. She used to say she had ways of making sure I'd never leave her. The last time I met her, she gave me a small pouch tied with red thread. Said it was for protection." Amina felt a shiver run down her spine. "Where is it now?" "In my old leather bag. I haven't touched it since I came back to you." They found the pouch buried beneath papers and an old wallet. It smelled faintly of rotting herbs. Inside was a twisted knot of hair, a rusty nail, and a strip of paper with strange markings. Not Arabic, not any script they knew. Amina's hand shook. "This is seer," she whispered. "Black magic." They wrapped it in cloth and took it to the imam of their local masjid the next morning. His face hardened when he saw it. "You are fortunate. Such things are often placed to bind hearts in haram ways, through the work of jinn. You must both increase your protection. Read ayat al-kursi after every salah, surah al-ikhlas, al-falak, and an-nas before sleeping, and keep your home filled with Quran recitation." They followed his advice. But the horror didn't end. Some nights, they would wake to the sound of dripping water, though no tap was open. Sometimes the baby's cradle would sway on its own. Once, Faiz found deep scratches on the bedroom wall, as if clawed by something within human nails. One evening, while reciting Surah Al-Baqarah aloud, Amina felt a sudden chill at her back. The lights flickered. In the reflection of the glass balcony door, she saw a face behind her, pale, lips curled in rage, eyes entirely black. She spun around. No one, but the smell of blood was there again. It was after this that Faiz began to have dreams, not of the old man reciting Quran, but of the woman. In the dream, she stood at the foot of their bed, her long hair swaying as if underwater, her hands dripping dark liquid. "You think you can leave me?" she hissed. "I will burn your home from the inside." They intensified their worship. Faiz stopped all unnecessary outings, stayed home after work, and prayed every salah in Jama'ah. They would recite Ruqya together before bed, their voices trembling but firm. The baby slept peacefully on those nights, the scent of jasmine returning, drowning out the smell of blood. The imam visited their home one Friday night, reciting Quran in every room. When he reached the hallway outside their bedroom, the walls creaked and the air grew heavy. "This is where it lingers," he said quietly. He recited ayat al-kursi 3 times, then Surah al-Baqarah. As his voice filled the hallway, Amina thought she saw something. A black mist curling near the ceiling, writhing as if in pain, before vanishing entirely. From that night onward, the recitation at 3:17 a.m. no longer came with footsteps or whispers, only peace. But Faiz and Amina never forgot. They knew that what had nearly destroyed their marriage had roots deeper than just betrayal. It was the influence of something unseen feeding on their sins. And they knew, too, that the only reason they had been saved was by turning back to Allah, implementing the Sunnah, and keeping their home alive with His words. Years later, they would still wake sometimes at 3:17 a.m., and on those nights, they would smile at each other, rise together, and pray, because they knew that once, a voice from the unseen had come to pull them apart, and another had come to bring them back together. If you want to know the full story of how a single verse changed my life forever, stay till the end, and let your heart witness the power of the Quran. Dear friends, if this story touched your heart, please share it and subscribe to our channel Deen in Minute. Your one share could become the reason someone else finds the light of faith. Never underestimate the power of a single reminder. It might change a life forever.